When we first meet Tony Stark in Iron Man, he is an alcoholic, narcissistic weapons manufacturer who wastes his life partying. The people who actually care about him are neglected. His life is both directionless and shallow. This changes after he's attacked by the weapons that he helped build and sell, and held captive by terrorists in a cave. He's forced to come to terms with the fact that he is responsible for the death of countless others. After all, the weapons he made are in the hands of terrorists. He's taken his gift for granted and used it for money rather than the safety of others. In that cave, he meets his complete opposite, a humble man named Yinsen. Yinsen tells him that his life's work has ended up in the hands of murderers, and that'll be his legacy if he dies in that cave. When he builds his first mini arc reactor and the first Iron Man suit to escape, he makes a promise to Yinsen. The promise is that he won't waste his life. When he returns to America, he arranges a press conference in which he states that he is shutting down the weapons division of Stark International. Tony realized that he had become part of a system that is comfortable with zero accountability. Sometime later, he learns that his weapons are still being sold to terrorists by his company. He decides that it's his responsibility to destroy his weapons. He knows that he definitely can't trust his company to do it. He's right to think so, as it was his second in command that tried to have him killed. He defeats Obadiah and stops him from building weapons with his miniaturized arc reactor. In the end, at the press conference, out of both ego and a yearning for a new purpose in life, he announces that he's Iron Man. He ends the film not as a hero, but as a man with a newly found direction. After some time has passed, the government makes it clear that they want his suit, but he will not give it up, out of fear of what they may do with it, and fear that his new meaning in life will be stripped away from him. However, the very thing that's given his life purpose has slowly started to kill him. He's certain that he will die as he can't find a replacement for the core. As his impending death looms closer, he begins to indulge in more drinking and partying. Tony is reflecting on and trying to secure his legacy, which is why he makes Pepper the CEO of his company. While he's worried about his future, Nick Fury points him towards his past. Him and his father never really got along. He has the impression that his father never really believed in him, or even liked him. However, this isn't the case, as he entrusted Tony with his life's work, and stated that he was his greatest creation. With a little hint from his late father, Tony creates a new element. The new element serves as a replacement to their current core, which saves his life. He uses the core to defeat a villain that has risen from his father's past. He also finally gets together with Pepper after their long, close relationship with each other. The events of Iron Man 2 ends, with Nick Fury rejecting Tony Stark as an Avenger, however still accepting him in a consulting role. That changes after Loki obtains the Tesseract and plots to invade Earth with the alien force. Now as an Avenger, Tony is face to face with the man that his father praised constantly, and he's not that impressed. Captain America tells him that he's not a hero, and that he's not the type of person that will sacrifice his life for the lives of others. He proves them wrong by sacrificing his life to stop a nuke from destroying New York. He proves that he's more than just a rich man in a suit. He's a hero to the people of the world, but not to himself. The invasion of New York haunts Tony and gives him anxiety attacks and nightmares. A thought comes to his mind: what if he can't save the ones he loves without his suit? A villain arises from his past and puts him in a situation where he doesn't have his suit. Despite all that, he still rises to the occasion, proving to himself what he proved to others in Avengers, that even without his suit, he still is Iron Man. Pepper, of course, has been at Tony's side for years, but she has never really liked the fact that he feels like he has to put his life in constant danger. She feels like he's always Iron Man first and Tony second. Whenever he's with her, he's distracted. After defeating the villain, Tony makes her a promise on Christmas Eve: no more distractions, no more putting her in danger, a clean slate, because even if he doesn't have the suits, he can still protect her. He's still Iron Man. But of course we know he doesn't keep that promise to Pepper. In Age of Ultron, he's presented with his worst fear, which causes him to feel the need to complete the Ultron program, which would essentially be an army of robots that protects Earth. With Loki's scepter, he now has the key he needs to finish the program. However, Ultron's creation only leads to destruction on an unprecedented scale, and with that destruction comes the realization that he has become the very thing he set out to stop so long ago. In his mind, he has become part of a system that is okay with zero accountability, which is why he doesn't think the Sokovia Accords is such a bad idea, but half the Avengers don't agree with him. Meanwhile, Captain America's old friend Bucky is framed for a bombing. Steve doesn't believe that it was him that killed those people, so he helps them out, which makes him a fugitive as well. And Tony is tasked to take them both in. He recruits a young Peter Parker, something he immediately regrets after the first showdown with Captain America. The final showdown between Captain America and Iron Man begins once Tony is shown that Bucky is responsible for the death of his parents. When all is said and done, Steve is victorious, but Tony has some final parting words for him. He says that he's not worthy of the shield, and while unsuccessful in his capture, he does strip him of it. The shield essentially represents his father's respect and admiration. The next time we see Tony, it's It's not in a story of his own, but of Peter Parker's. Tony attempts to teach him so he learns from his mistakes, which is why he tells him that if he's nothing without the suit, then he doesn't deserve to wear it, something that took him a long time to learn himself. Peter wants to be like Stark, but Tony wants him to be better than him. He feels responsible for Parker, which is why he's so hard on him. If anything were to happen to him, it'd be on him. At the end of Homecoming, Parker rejects Stark's offer to be an Avenger. Given that there is a press conference outside waiting for a big announcement, which was supposed to be Spider-Man joining the Avengers, Tony seizes the opportunity to propose to the woman that he loves, and Pepper accepts. Whatever happiness they had soon disappears with the arrival of Thanos' henchmen. This causes Tony to once again throw himself into the front lines. Pepper begs him to return and leave the ship. She sounds heartbroken. She threatens him with something. That's something we don't know, but it can be assumed that if he doesn't return, she'll call off the wedding. He decides to take the fight to Thanos, the man who's caused him so much pain. After all, it was the invasion of New York that led to his life's downward spiral. The fear of another invasion led to the creation of Ultron, which led to the Sokovia Accords, which caused the Avengers to break up. After a failed plan, Tony hits him with all he has, but still comes up short. Thanos tells him he hopes the people of Earth remember him. He says this as a sign of respect, but to Tony it's a gut punch, as his legacy is extremely important for him, and if the people do remember him, it'll be as the hero that failed them. When Thanos obtains the last Infinity Stone, Tony's worst fear comes true.
Watch my friends die. You'd think that'd be as bad as it gets, right? Nope. Wasn't the worst part.
The worst part
Is that you didn't.
the Maximoff girl, she's working you, Stark. Playing on your fear.
I wasn't tricked. I was shown. It wasn't a nightmare. It was my legacy. The end of the path I started us on.
When we see him next, he's on a ship that's out of food and will run out of oxygen soon. He awaits his death, thinking of the woman that he loves, hoping that he'll be able to pull off one last surprise. While it's uncertain what he'll do next, what is certain is that whatever he does next will determine what he is remembered for.